our live session. I got a little knife here. Gonna sharpen a chisel, and then we'll see kind of how things go. Working on this knife for a friend. He came and made this, and yeah, it's huge. Um, this might be the largest knife that I've made in definitely probably the largest one I've heat treated in my heat treat oven. But this thing is huge. Um, he wanted this knife for dispatching animals. So, anyways, um, I'm working on a sheath for it right now, and then we're gonna sharpen it up. Not tonight, but here shortly. So, anyways, I hope you guys have had a good week. Things have been fun and busy around here. What did I do this last week? Worked on some more of the house. Started to. I'm gonna have to build a new stanchion for the cow. Um, I don't even know. The days fly by. So last week, Pop Pepper was here, and we got some work done. Was that last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he went live with me. Oh, but he left. Oh, that's what it was. We had some visitors come from California, buy some puppies, and then we sold the last of our puppies today, so that was good. Anyways, so I've got for making this sheath. I was wanting to use this chisel, and I started. I kind of gave it a quick sharpening. Um, this chisel I got from an old school auction. So students had used it, and it's been used and abused, and it needs a lot more TLC. But I started off with trying to flatten the back. As you can see, this corner is still low. Um, yeah, this back was really nowhere close to right. And anyways, sometimes you just gotta work with what you got. So let's see. Probably need to flatten my stone again before long. Got this. I think I'm gonna move this base. It's up a little high. So, how was your guys' week? How many?
Got 4.
4 people on live. All 4. My mom. No. Probably not my mom. So when sharpening a chisel, it's a pretty easy one to start with, especially if you have a nice big flat bevel. There's actually multiple bevels on this, and I can sharpen it. I just kind of did a freehand sharpening. I probably should have spent a little more time, but I was just doing something quick and easy. I'm going to get a burr raised up on here. And there's several ways to do this. Some people build a jig to hold the angle. I actually have some fancy chisel sharpening guides from a company I will not name because of some recent controversy with that company and another creator. All right. I have a burr raised up on the back. Do a couple back drags. I actually might go ahead and I have a pretty rough finish on the back, so I'm going to try to polish that up a little bit.
Everybody be loud.
The weather is cooling off quickly. So it's very nice to have some cooler weather, but also I know that the freezing weather is coming quickly. And we got a lot of stuff to finish up before it starts getting frozen around here. Some people talking about it being a cold winter. Of course, seems like every year somebody's afraid of a super cold winter, but I don't worry about it too much. Just take each day as it comes. Occasionally I'll check the weather if I'm worried about, rain or something. But for the most part, I don't get too concerned with what the weather's doing. I really would love to get that final low spot out of this chisel, but I'm looking at it and I realize like there would have to be a ton of material removed to get that out, and as we sharpen it this way, it's going to kind of correct itself. Looks like I'm not completely square on the chisel either, so it's one of those things that will come out with time. I actually have 2 or 3, maybe 4 chisels the same size. I probably should have looked at some of the other ones. This is just the first one. First one I grabbed. So it's interesting as you sharpen different knives and material, you'll start to notice the difference in your swarf, in the way that the burr is formed. And it can tell you a lot about the quality of the steel. I was sharpening a knife this past weekend. Oh, that's where Friday I went to the Ozark Homesteader Expo, and that was fun. I sharpened a bunch of knives there. I knew last week flew by. So we went to the Ozark Homesteader Festival, sharpened some knives. And, especially when you go to some place like that, you get all sorts of inexpensive knives and things. And one of the guy's knives, like, just super cheap steel. And I was showing him the burr that forms on some really cheap steel. Just looks like aluminum foil. It's really big. It's really ragged. And you just, over time, you start to learn. Good steel is going to create a finer burr. Just because the smaller grain structure of the steel, it's able, it's going to create just a smaller, finer burr.
Jenny said, hey.
Hey, Jenny. Hope you're doing well. It's easy to gouge your stone if you're not careful. I like these stones, these Shapton Pro stones. They're nice and hard. Some of your softer stones, you'd really want to be careful pushing into the stone with the edge. next up. Yep. The Ozark Homesteading Expo. The next thing, Self-Reliance Expo is coming up. I wish I was gonna go. Unfortunately, I have some other commitments that weekend. That is, I think it's the first weekend in October. If you guys like to, that's a good thing to go to. Learn a lot. I've gone in the past. It's a good workshop. Nicole Sauce over at Living Free in Tennessee puts that together. So right now I am when I go forward on the forward stroke, I drop my angle down to avoid gouging that stone, and then I bring it up till I feel that edge touch. And so really this is mainly like a back dragging stroke. It's just a little more quick and efficient to not pick the tool up and set it back down on the stone. So I like to just drop it down, slide her forward, find that edge, and do it again. This will give you a slight convex to your edge, which also can come in handy.
Jenny said it looks like a lot of good speakers at LFT or at the
Self-Reliance.
Self-Reliance.
Yeah, SRF.
I think there's a bunch of new names this time.
Yeah, I forget who else was speaking there. Touch that back up a little bit. Same on this back, I'm just kind of picking it up, cheating it a little bit. Trying to make sure I get right out to that edge. You want to keep the back as flat as possible. I'm just basically picking it up enough to like put a little bit of emphasis on the edge. Pick it up a half a degree or so. Alright. I think I'm going to stop there and strut. You got to be careful, like I just did. Sometimes too, people will. These kind of have. It kind of has a sharp edge on the edges of the chisel, so you got to be careful not to gouge your strop. I had to order some more strop compound. I forgot to.
Is that something there on your table still?
Yeah, but it's different. It's not the same not the same micron. So let's see. Still feels like it's got a little burr on there. Trying to see if I had a board laying around.
Do we go out there and get one?
Sure. Let's get one of some of that car siding or something. A small scrap piece. Guys behaved, the moderators left the room.
Too big?
No, that's fine. It's got nails in it though.
Oops.
That's fine. Not as sharp as I'd like it to be. It's got, but it's sharp. This is just pine. Good enough, good enough. So I don't know if you guys can see that edge. It's kind of ugly. That functional. Feel like I could strop it just a little more. What's the time, babe? Not quite sharp as I'd like to be.
It's 7:18.
So we'll play with that some more. Anyways, sharp enough to do what I need to do. What else was I going to sharpen? I had something else I was going to sharpen. Not the draw knife. Although it needs some, it does need some work. It's got some chips in it. Oh, I was going to grab your kitchen knife, and I didn't grab it. But I might touch up my neck knife. Any questions? So we got any questions? Or any other comments?
Nope. Everybody's quiet.
Okay. One knife doesn't need much. I always enjoy going to events, especially like the kind of family friendly events. Get a chance to, you know, teach some kids a little bit. We had some kids stop by and other even adults. People just like to watch you sharpen knives, and then there's a young boy there from New Mexico. I think their family is from New Mexico, and had a good time visiting with their family. Got to show him a little bit about sharpening. I'm kind of bad at guessing ages, but younger man. It's always it's always fun to teach kids. They're I think in all my growing up, I don't know that I ever seen anybody other than my dad sharpen knives. I remember watching my dad, and I only remember like one memory of him. I remember sitting on the couch and we were watching the weather like he did or something, getting ready to go fishing or something, and he pulled out. I don't know if it was a stone, or I think it was probably a stone. Could have been some ceramic rods or something. And he started working on his knife. And I remember him shaving the hair on his arm. And I was impressed by it. And I remember attempting sharpening knives as a child and failing miserably. I remember the old Ginsu knives. They were advertised as, always stay sharp and yada yada. They'd cut through a brick or saw on a brick, and I think even cut a copper pipe or something crazy, and then slice tomatoes cleanly. Of course, they were all like serrated blades, and it's kind of like, I remember going to the fairs and stuff, and there always be these people doing demonstrations and selling you something. And there was another one that was popular back in the day. I don't remember what it's called, like the ShamWow or something. And they would spill something on the table and they'd wipe it up. And no matter what it is, whether it's sharpening a knife or cleaning up a mess or just whatever, there are ways to do every task efficiently and with skill. And what a lot of people don't understand about like slicing newspaper or these different feats that you do, wiping, taking a single towel and wiping up an entire 2-liter soda pop mess, is there's a skill behind it that makes it efficient. And most people, they see something that is incredible, the efficiency and the skill, and they think that just buying that product is going to like magically impart. Like, they don't understand that half of the trick is in how it was performed. And so realize this, that in anything that you want to do or accomplish, that if you become skilled at it, which only comes through repetition and practice and knowledge, it will impress people. And even if it's something simple, like the old cups, things that kids do. Kids do a lot of these things, and they devote all this time into practicing to become skilled at some task. And it's impressive. It's nice to watch somebody who has skill do something. But realize, most of the time these companies are selling you something. They're not dumb. They know that they can wow you and impress you with skill, that it sells product. So that is my 2 cents on cross contamination. I'm just laughing at the irony of, like, I'm using these Shapton stones. I'm using my Nanahone pond and base as just a rinse tub. It's like a very expensive sharpening set, and yeah, just funny to me. All my Nanahone stones are downstairs. I need to bring them up here. But you don't need the most expensive stones either to do a good job. I skipped a grip, but so yeah, I hope to finish up the sheath for this big knife. Get this knife wrapped up this week. Gotta work for, I'm gonna do a few expert counsel segments. Hopefully publish some of them in the next week or 2. What else gotta get done this week?
Did you tell them what kind of sheath you're making?
No, it's the sheath for this is gonna be a wooden, like, sheath. Out of that, this wood is acacia wood. So I'm gonna have an acacia wood sheath. It's got acacia wood on the handle. Wish I knew where my good strop is. I've misplaced the strop. All the work going on around here. Everything gets shuffled around, and
Jenny said that she adores acacia wood. It has a lot of color variability too.
yeah, unfortunately, I really liked the darker acacia wood, and when we stabilized it, it cracked. Thankfully, we had enough to still do what we needed to do. But yeah, so that's how my week's been. Got some little shaves here. Going to, it's getting to be campfire weather time again. Get the old solo stove fired up, sit out by the fire, enjoy the nice cool evenings with lack of bugs. So that's nice. Anyways, this is Patrick with MT Knives. Hope you guys have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. If you have any questions, feel free to share. Have a great week.